boop, 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 boop. Oh, hey, would you look at that? It's the LG G2. Huh, the Verizon version. Yes, I got it. Got it today. Super excited to show you all about it. So I'm going to skip the chit chat and I'm just going to get straight into it because it's really worth it. Alright, well, I contemplated doing this in the first place, but I think that there is a purpose to it. So let's go ahead and unbox it real quick. The phone itself is not inside the box, it's already out. So let's take off the sleeve here, and you can see we've got a very colorful packaging, actually. And it's cool because that's very unique to Verizon. Also, pardon the shaky cam because the tripod is currently busted. So, just your basic information on it. Look what it comes with. Does anything seem striking to you? No, maybe not yet. Well, we'll get to that later. So, you've got a really neat, let's move this lamp back. Really neat packaging here. And, I mean, it's as simple as it looks. It has LG, barcodes that you don't need to see, and that's it. So let's go ahead and take it out, right? So you open it up, and let me grab the actual phone. This is how it would look. Okay, simple enough. So we're going to pop this open. Funny how that looks like the quick window from LG, actually. Reminds me of that. So you got your Get to Know Your Phone guide. Sorry, I haven't read it yet. And then you just have a cable and a wall adapter. Now, why am I making a deal of this? The international version comes with some sweet headphones. Why is it that us US people get gypped on that stuff, It's kind of baloney. I've seen some other reviewers, and they said that those headphones are really, really sweet. So it really disappoints me to not have them because I don't know about you, but I'd like to get the same amount of stuff for what I'm paying for. Because if I'm paying the same amount as an international person, I want the same amount of stuff. But that's enough complaining. Let's keep going. Okay, so now let's go ahead and give you first impressions. Let me tighten this on my hand. Alright, so first impressions are a huge deal with phones. And I've got to say that this has actually made a very, very positive first impression. And that's why I bought it. The day that it came out, I went in to take a look at it. And I'm like, wow, this is very nice. So here's it obviously off. There's the ever-prevalent Verizon logo everybody's going to complain about. Yes, it's there. It's not as big as the one on the Note, so I guess I can't complain too much. Obviously an LG logo right there. On the back, here's the kicker. Ready? Whoa, wait a second. Those aren't the buttons I remember. Yes, they were changed. Unfortunately, I don't feel like they're for the better, as well as the camera ring. But I really like this phone, and I was not going to let a set of buttons change whether or not I get the phone. So, nonetheless, here it is. I'll give you a really quick rundown on specs. So, on the front, you have a 5.2-inch IPS LCD screen at 1080p, which is about 400-something pixels per inch, and it's beautiful. I know you just want to see it on, don't you? But I'm going to make you wait. And then on the back, 13-megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. Obviously, power button, which I have yet to see if that little ring around it, bring a little closer, lights up when you get a notification. I believe it does. And then volume buttons. On the side, on the left, you have your micro SIM tray, and that's it for that. On the right, nothing. Top, microphone or two. Bottom, this is interesting too. There were two grills for speakers on every other variant of this device, and for this one, let me just unplug it. There is not even a grill, but it's 3 holes that were drilled in. Ooh, I almost gave you a sneak peek of the screen. So let's see if you can take a look at that. Now, they sound well enough, and I mean, if you think about it, it's just the size of the hole that the sound is coming out of. I mean, I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference. So far, the speakers are pretty good. Honestly, I haven't listened to them at full volume yet. There you go. Charging port, and then microphone and headphone jack on the bottom. So I'll show you now. Well, there's the screen on. The user interface is very bubbly. It's very akin to Samsung's TouchWiz, except replace the dark blue hues that Samsung has, and kind of insert green and red and orange and those that you have here. It's very cartoony and colorful. I can't decide which I would prefer. I think I actually prefer LG's interface for now, but it's not going to matter because I'm going to put a custom ROM on it at some point. Anyway, right now I'm just kind of giving it a test. But there was something I was going to say. I cannot remember. Oh, actually, it was the button placement. Obviously, everybody's asking about that button placement. So let's give you a quick look at Knock On, which is one of the most underrated features I think of this device, and something that I think all phones should have. So watch, ready? Oh look, it's on, and then we'll just turn it off. And it's amazing how many times I catch myself doing that. Now the button placement, how does that feel, right? It's actually quite natural. My one gripe is that the Verizon buttons, or the buttons on the Verizon model are noticeably smaller. And I do find myself sometimes hitting the volume button when I want to hit the power button. Maybe that just is me needing to get used to the phone a little more. I don't know. But it's not too big of a deal because when I want to turn my phone on, most of the time I use Knock On. So that's that. It feels very great in the ear and in the hand, actually. It's amazing the bezel that they were able to just trim off of here. I think it's the most you can really trim off of a device without actually making it a hassle, because you need a little bit. See my fingers right there, you kind of need a little bit so that your fingers don't overlap and touch the screen. So there's that. I think it's very good. This is a 5.2 inch screen and I can comfortably wrap my entire hand around it. The Note 2 was a 5.5 and I could just barely pinch, so that's amazing. Still definitely falls into phone category, but it is the limit of what a phone can be, I think, unless you can manage to trim the bezel even more. Realistically, it's probably about a 5-inch screen because you have the navigation buttons. So, but I guess technically speaking, it is a 5.2. First impressions, great. First day with it today, amazing. I'm gonna do a video every couple days, just kind of my journey with it and seeing how it is, because eventually I am gonna do a full in-depth review. And camera quality is awful compared to my normal videos. I know that. One of the things I was not able to take with me to college was the nice fancy camera that I had used for my videos. So currently using a handy cam, trying to get my hands on another camera I can use. But in the meantime, I'm going to do my best with what I've got, and I appreciate you sticking with me for that. But hey, the audio sounds good, right? That Blue Yeti Pro mic sounds pretty good. That's it. If you got any questions for me, feel free to shoot them anywhere. Twitter, Google+, YouTube, comments, personal message on YouTube, whatever. You can answer any kind of questions you got about this phone. It's funny because when it first launched, I'm like, LG G2, whatever. They're just trying to compete with the S4. But it really does just outperform every other phone on the market right now. Snapdragon S4. Snapdragon 800 processor at 2.26 gigahertz. Round it up to 2.3 if you want. 2 gigs of RAM. Oh no, the Note 3's got 3 gigs of RAM. It's sweet to have 3 gigs, but it's really not necessary. Camera's got about every single feature you can imagine, aside from being waterproof and maybe a 20.7 megapixel sensor. So far, it's done very good in low light, and I'm eager to try the 1080p at 60 frames per second, as well as testing out that OIS on the camera. So that's all for now. Let's get to a closure in the video, shall we? Alright, so that's kind of a first look at the LG G2, the Verizon version. One thing I did neglect to mention so far is you probably don't notice it, but one, the phone is just a tiny bit thicker than the normal LG G2. I mean, it's a hair, and that's because only the Verizon edition gets built-in wireless charging, which is very cool. Something that I could actually see myself using for once, a feature that they actually give us that I could use. I can see myself sitting at this computer right here that you cannot even see, and just plopping my phone down and just charging it right there. It's much more convenient than having to do this. Actually, I want to show you a little animation that it does too, which is kind of a stiff plug too. Watch. It takes a little bit of effort. See, it's kind of neat. It shows that it's plugged in down there. And then to pull it out, I feel like I'm going to rip out the flipping USB port. But it's a very cool feature. Screen is magnificent. I've never seen a screen this beautiful. I mean, no other screen is usually a little too saturated, a little too hot, a little too cold. This is just a tad saturated. It's a little hot on the color palette, but man, it's good. The IPS LCD is... If delicious was a way to describe something you could see, it's delicious. And it really doesn't do it justice. And then also, it's kind of a... Not gray, it's almost like a super, super dark bluish gray black color. It's not going to be portrayed well in the camera. It's not that sweet black that every other edition comes with, and also does not come in white yet. This is also day 2 of its release. But that's all. that's just a first impression. I'm going to make a couple more videos. I'm also going to upload some test videos and pictures of that supposedly amazing camera, and we'll see what happens from there, right? Please, please, please feel free to let me know if you have any questions at all about this device. It's fantastic so far. Super powerful. Definitely can see this lasting 2 years. Provided that LG gets us the updates, right? We'll see. But that's all for now. Do me a gigantic favor, maybe. Like the video or share, whatever you want to do. Subscribe to keep up to date. So, the bigger my name is, the more I can get stuff to review for you guys and possibly in turn give it to you guys. So you're helping both of us out by doing that. Yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it a whole lot. Peter signing off. See you later.